Good morning, and this is Morning Reel, a 3 to 4, 200-minute or so podcast of films that I review. My name is Ray Salazar. Happy New Year 2024. We're here, January, and I'm here to review a film called Juice. Yeah, Juice. It's a New York hip hop film, sort of a comedy, sort of a crime and a thriller all wrapped up into one. And it's a pretty good film. I like it. I hadn't seen it in a long time. I may have seen it maybe up to 3 times. And I just decided, you know what? I don't know. I have to watch this movie again. I got to talk about it just very briefly. This film is good, like I said. It has comedy, has some type of, urban street action, you know, as tight as the cast is, meaning that like there isn't a lot of people in the cast as far as key characters per se. I like that in this film because it's in New York, and back at that time, early 90s New York, it was all about hip hop. And hip hop is a character in this film too, like the music sets the scenes. Sometimes it goes with it, sometimes it doesn't. I like how they mix like hip hop music into the actual score of the film, It I like how that blends together. And there are times in the film too where there's no music at all and it's perfect. It gives us time to actually take the drama in because it's a pretty dramatic film. I won't say it's over dramatic. Even Tupac Shakur, who was a very well-known hip hop artist and decided to do acting in early in his career, in this film he's a pretty good actor. He plays a pretty good character that he sort of bases his whole motive off of watching White Heat, which is a very famous James Cagney film. And the thing that really shook to his core was the fact that this guy went out like in a bang. He went out big. And these these folks in this film, they're teenagers. The main characters, they're teenagers. They're in high school. They're probably in their senior, junior year. We don't know. It's not really said. But if they're leaving home with their parents kind of thinking that, hey, you better be back home after school. And you know what I'm talking about. Come on, man. They all skip class and do their own thing, their own little run. And I mean, I don't know what it was like then in New York, especially in the 90s, living in a certain part of town. And I guess it's in Harlem because crimes happen in this film. And the only way we can actually know about this information, especially as far as a screenplay point of view, was the fact that the characters would be watching TV or reading it off a newspaper. And that's crazy how we got the information in this film. And besides that, the only thing I didn't really like about this film is that I feel the way Raheem died and the way Steele died, it really sucks to like to see a movie where like, dang man, all his homies are getting capped by the same dude who's clearly like insane. And obviously like they're teens, they don't really get into trouble like this. They kind of like fool around, try to pick up at chicks, try to steal records from the record store, which that scene was pretty cool too. I like these things about this film where like they have like these little schemes, these little adventures going, and obviously it has to lead somewhere, right? Like it can't just be mindless fun. I mean, it'd be like if it was just a mindless fun movie, I think it would still be good, but there is a point to this film. It's a pretty anti-violent film, I mean, there's violence in it, but it speaks anti-violence. It especially to the youth because I don't know, man. I don't know the statistics or anything like that, especially in 90s New York, but I do know for sure there was a lot of violence and totally involved guns. Brothers were shooting brothers were shooting Hispanic brothers, man. Like it was just kind of wild. I like that the film showed me that. It definitely, like, even the city itself of New York, even the scene, it's a character, because it's telling you what world you're in, and it doesn't even, they don't tell you, oh, this is 1990s New York, or nothing like you when you see it, you kind of know, it's that culturally impactful as far as like how you already kind of know about it. And even if you didn't know, like say you were just somebody who's never seen a film that was set in New York or set in 90s New York, that film right there gave you a taste of the times, and it gave you a raw taste of it too, because all these characters are tough, man. Even the mom and dad, they're tough. I mean, loving characters, some of them are kind of one dimensional, but overall, there is some toughness out there. And it's whether, like, if you want to, like, be that tough type, be that macho, because, these are teens, and Bishop, he wants to, like, get by. He wants to go big, but, like, it feels like he just got desperate. And, oh, yeah, so coming back to Bishop, man, I think they did the Bishop wrong. Not really, but I wish they added just a little bit more to his character, because he's actually a really good character. Raheem, Steele, Bishop, and Quincy, Tupac was the one who really spoke for all of them. Like, hey, man, like, what are we doing here, man? Like, we should be making it big. Look at these guys. They're making it big. But, he didn't know no better. And it's crazy because when we are first introduced to Tupac's Bishop character, very athletic for his youth. He likes to look good. He's very happy to see his, like, the women in the house. But when it comes to the dad or whatnot, there is this silence. And that shot's pretty good because it really sets the tone of who Bishop is, like where his character kind of stems from. And obviously it stems from his family. There's some type of trauma going down there, and I don't know, something set him off when he saw that white heat scene, which is a very iconic scene with a very iconic line. If you haven't seen White Heat, you should watch it. I'm going to watch it again. I'm probably going to review that film too, because I've definitely never reviewed a James Cagney film. So I got to do my tribute right for that. But anyways, man, I wish they did more to his character, because in filmmaking and screenwriting, there has to be a turning point, right? And I feel they did the turning point way too late for Bishop at the end of the film, as we all know what that is. And by the way, like, my favorite shot of the film, well, two favorite shots of the film. First one is when Quincy wins his round, right? He's walking down the steps and it's just music playing. There's really no sound effects going on. He's just walking down the steps. And when he's walking up to, the little crew and all, the wrecking crew, Riverside mother, and they're just standing there. They're not hollering, they're not yelling, they're not giving him the props that I guess he would have loved to have received. They're just like zombies. I think it was either Bishop or Raheem, or I think even Steele. I don't remember who, but you hear this, like, you can tell he's on his ear, right? And he's giving Q some information. And obviously we don't hear it, especially because of the music going on. But it's not like actual in-house music, This is like soundtrack, but it's still effective either way, because it stays on Quincy, right? And he's just standing there, and you can see the hoodie part on his head and everything. So he looks very mysterious, and it just sits there for a while, and amongst all the crowd going all crazy. And I like how that even transitions to the scene where, like, stuff hits the fan for the whole crew and for the whole film. Really, it kind of turns at that point, because Bishop did something that he should have not have done, even when you're like trying to rob a place, like as simple as a very mini convenience store, right? Second shot obviously is the last shot of the film, with the homie from earlier in the film trying to get the tape from Quincy for $10, and Quincy's like, nah, man, 15, because it's blowing up. I'm doing good. It's 15 now. That same guy gave him the juice, basically the tag, right? Like, she's like, you got the juice now. And it just stays on cue, and it's on a tight close up, and it freeze frames, right? And then it just eventually fades into a younger. And see, that's the thing, the ending too. Like, I wish it didn't really go back to that. I wish it left it really raw, where it just ends on cue and just fades to black to the credits. Maybe, as far as the director's concerned, he just probably wanted something nice for us to remember, because at the same time, you do realize that like all these homies are gone. Like, and that changes a person, especially in their youth. It really messes them up, you know? And all these people were trying to figure out what they wanted to be, what they wanted to do, how to get by, you know, especially in a crazy world like 90s New York, Harlem, right? You don't notice it at that moment. Honestly, I never noticed. I didn't realize it until right now, really. We're like, whoa, like all his homies are gone. And yeah, it would be pretty sad for everybody just to be just like, whoa, like that's it. He's the only one alive. Pretty sad. So I guess, you know, he wanted to leave it at a good note. All right, man. I'm gonna get the credits real quick. Directed by Ernest R. Dickerson. Screenplay by Gerard Brown and Ernest R. Dickerson. Story by Ernest R. Dickerson. Produced by David Heyman, Neil H. Moritz, and Peter Frankfurt. Starring Omar Epps, Jermaine Hopkins, Khalil Kane, and Tupac Shakur. Cinematography by Larry Barks. Edited by Sam Pollard and Brunilda Torres. Music by Hank Shockley and the Bomb Squad. Really good soundtrack. This soundtrack actually got a gold, if I'm not mistaken. And like I said, the music really sets the film and adds as a character to the film. You know, it's not a bad film. It's pretty solid. Like, I enjoyed watching. It's a very enjoyable film. Just the thing about Tupac's character, where like, man, they just made him crazy and that's it. Like, there was no, I guess at that point, there's no turning back, right? But like, it was just too late to like kind of like reintroduce him as somebody who kind of like, you know what, I'm at the edge of this rooftop. I kind of want to change my ways or whatnot, you know. But then again, we're left to the open-ended question: what's gonna happen to Quincy? He's got the juice now. You know, is he gonna get locked up? Who knows? Good ending. Good ending. All the other characters, the key characters, even like except for Steel, you know, Steel didn't really have much like third dimension elements to him, but it is what it is, man. Production companies: Island World, Moritz Heyman, produced by Paramount Pictures. $5 million budget, box office $20.1 million. I give this film a 3 out of 4 tokes. Go watch it. It's on HBO Max. My name is Ray Salazar. Follow me on Morning Shot Films. Check out my YouTube at Morning Shot Films. Check out my website, morningshotfilms.co. I got merch. I got a new gallery. I got a bunch of stuff to review this month and the whole year. I set myself the whole year, man. Each month, I'm going to give you a film that was great, that came out in the 90s, and a film that sucked, that came out of the 90s of each month. This film, I think, yeah, this is one of the films where I thought it was a good film. Now I got another one coming up, which is a bad film. For the rest of this month, I'm going to be reviewing Before Sunrise, Selma, Anatomy of a Fall, and Leave the World Behind, featuring XG of the We Don't Smoke the Same podcast, Tinfoil Hat with Sam Tripoli, George Perez Stories, and more. Thank you.